and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavor show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of
what makes us rush into things, or, sometimes politely back away, even when we say the opposite. Today we're doing a deep dive into human emotions, social games, all through a bit of recent radio drama.
That's right, from The Archers. We've got these two conversations that seem totally separate at first glance.
Yeah, but when you start to unpack them, you find these really profound insights.
Absolutely. Insights into how we see ourselves, our relationships, and that subtle dance we do in social situations.
So our mission today is really to pull out those little nuggets, to understand why people say what they say.
Or maybe what they don't say, what that really means underneath.
Exactly. So let's get into it. First up is George. He's in prison, and he suddenly has this very urgent need.
To marry Amber. Right there in the prison chapel.
Yeah, he's quite clear, I want to get married, and then he insists, I want this to happen soon.
And what's interesting right away is the chaplain. He doesn't just accept it.
No, he kind of pushes back gently.
Right, with questions like why the hurry and why does it have to be now?
He senses there's something more going on than just, I don't want to wait.
Which is George's first answer, isn't it? Sort of dismissive.
Totally. But the chaplain keeps digging, and that's when the real reason emerges.
Yeah, this core fear comes out.
He says, I don't want to lose her.
Okay, so it's not impatience.
Not really. It's this deep-seated fear, isn't it? Like, imposter syndrome, almost.
Definitely feels like that, this feeling of not being good enough for Amber.
He actually says he thinks if she saw me properly, what I really am, she'd realize he's not good enough for Amber.
Wow. That's intense self-doubt.
And it's not just in his head, is it? There are outside pressures feeding this.
Yeah, you mentioned Amber's parents. He hasn't even met them.
Right. But he knows they were gutted and told Amber she could do so much better for herself.
Ooh, so that external judgment just reinforces his own negative view.
He says he wakes up thinking, they've got a point. It shows how much that, external validation or lack of it matters.
It really shapes his internal narrative.
To the point where he calls himself basically bad.
And feels he deserves to be in prison. That internal monologue, if I look inside, yeah, it is not good enough. Nowhere near good enough.
It's so powerful. Like a cognitive distortion, really twisting his self-perception. How do you even start to challenge that?
That's the key question, and the chaplain handles it really well, I think. He gives two main responses.
Okay.
First, he points to Amber's choice, her agency.
Right. He says, she chose you. She stood up to her parents, and that can't have been easy.
Exactly. It's like saying, look, her actions prove she sees something different in you, something valuable. It directly counters that imposter feeling.
And the second point?
It's broader, more universal.
Yeah.
About redemption.
Ah, yes. The idea that no one is beyond redemption.
We all make bad choices, sometimes devastatingly bad. That's the quote. It's powerful.
And he doesn't just say it, he shares something personal, doesn't he? To really make the point.
He does, and it's quite a story about being young, a gang fight.
Throwing a kid off a wall.
Yeah.
Believing he'd killed him.
Yeah. It's incredibly vulnerable. Sharing that kind of bad choice from his own past, it creates this connection, empathy.
Makes the message land much harder.
For sure. His conclusion is just spot on. I'm not basically bad, George, and nor are you. You're the same as the rest of us. Potentially good.
It's a real shift, isn't it? Away from needing that quick marriage fix.
Towards finding other ways to show commitment. Building that self-worth from the inside.
Okay, so that's George's internal struggle.
Yeah.
Now let's pivot to something that feels lighter but is just as interesting. Tracy's 50th birthday.
Right. And Neil's being helpful, offering to take their kid, Bert, for the evening.
Setting the scene for the party. But then comes the awkward bit.
The invitation from Martin Gibson?
Yeah. Jazzer feels he has to invite him because Martin is particularly expecting it.
Even though everyone, including Jazzer probably, sees Martin as a bit of a damper.
A real dark cloud at any party. It's a classic social obligation scenario.
Absolutely. You see these unwritten rules, this social scripting playing out. Keep the peace, even if it's awkward.
And Martin's response is just perfect, polite evasion.
Textbook. First, enthusiasm. I'd love to come.
Followed later by the polite out, "Oh, I honestly thought my diary was clear." But it isn't.
He's the master of the social sidestep. It's almost an art form.
And what's fascinating is that Jazzer totally sees it coming. He predicts it.
Yeah, he knows Martin will look up his diary and, oh dear, he's double booked. Can't come after all. Terribly sorry.
It shows this shared understanding, doesn't it? This unspoken code.
Exactly. It's all about avoiding direct conflict, saving face for everyone involved.
So everyone's been polite and proper, and everyone gets what they want. No actual confrontation.
It's a neat, if slightly indirect, way of managing social friction.
It really contrasts with George's raw, internal stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, very different on the surface, but Martin also touches on his own self-perception, his own feeling of not quite fitting in.
Right. He says, most of the village hate me. And he has this whole backstory.
About his family, his dad and stepdad being brothers, the fight over his mom.
And how every time they look at me, they see the row. Like I don't really belong in the family.
So it's a different kind of outsider feeling. Not, I'm basically bad like George, but more like he's a living reminder of past conflict, a social burden.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. George's issue is deeply internal personal worth. Martin's is more about his perceived social role, what he represents to others.
And that perception drives his behavior, the polite avoidance, managing expectations.
So we've looked at George wrestling with his self-worth inside prison walls and Martin navigating these tricky social currents outside. What connects these two stories for you?
Well, the big one is perception, just how powerful it is.
How we see ourselves and how we think others see us.
Exactly. George's whole world is colored by his negative self-image. Martin acts based on his perceived social role, this legacy he carries. Our view shapes our reality.
It also highlights communication that isn't verbal, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. The subtext.
George's real reasons behind the urgency, the whole unspoken dance between Jazzer and Martin.
Right. So much happens between the lines. It makes you think about how important it is to, read those cues in our own interactions.
Definitely. And that feeling, that not good enough feeling, it seems pretty universal, but they cope so differently.
Totally. George internalizes it completely. He sees himself as fundamentally flawed, basically bad. He needs that external fix, the marriage, to try and silence that inner voice.
Whereas Martin, he sort of accepts the external perception, most of the village hate me, and develops this strategy, this polite game, to manage it.
Yeah, he uses social scripting almost as a defense mechanism to avoid the direct pain of rejection or confrontation. It shows the different ways we handle that core human anxiety.
It's a fascinating contrast. One internalizes, the other externalizes and manages.
A dance between our inner world and the social stage.
So thinking about all this, what are the takeaways for you listening in? We've seen George's struggle for self-acceptance, the chaplain's message about shared imperfection.
And redemption. And then the flip side, the subtle social moves around Tracy's party. Martin's skill in saving face.
It shows how our deep beliefs, like feeling like an imposter, can really drive our actions in ways that don't always seem logical on the surface.
And how those social scripts, those polite norms, often help us get by without having to say the hard things directly.
So here's something for you to think about. Where in your own life do you notice these unspoken rules? The polite fictions, the social scripts?
And maybe, is there an area where your own view of yourself, maybe a touch of that not good enough feeling, or a specific way you think others see you might be shaping your choices more than you realize?
Just thinking about these dynamics, understanding them a bit better, might help navigate, your own relationships, your own inner world with a bit more clarity.
So what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just moving mics around.
So what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the arches. Any
Are you what we call Foley then?
Kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the bull bar. That's
this one.
Yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever